Hey. Welcome to After the Buzzer Sports Podcast Update. I'm your host, Lee Jones. I'm with my man, Marvin Orange, the Hall of Famer, Mr. Basketball. What's up, Marv?
What's good? What's good on a Monday night?
Man, we're gonna top it off with some of the hottest topics from the day, man, as we start to give our update, our weekly and our daily update about the hottest topics that went on today. Today in the rundown, we're gonna cover is Penny Hardaway on the hot seat after that loss yesterday at SMU where the Tigers looked atrocious on the basketball court. We want to ask the question or answer the question, is Penny Hardaway on the hot seat? We also want to just talk about how can we fix the All-Star game, or is it fixable? The All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, we all saw that, an All-Star weekend. We want to dive into that. And then we want to talk about Kenny Smith's comments about Sabrina Ionescu and the three-point shooting contest. We want to dive into that. But first, let's get started. Let's kick it off. Memphis, 106-79 loss. 3-6 in their last 9 games after starting 15-2, Marv. It's been a downward spiral for the Tigers. What is your opinion about the Tigers team, and do you think now Penny Hardaway is on the hot seat as far as the coach of the Memphis Tigers?
Yeah, I watched that product they put out yesterday, and it was hard to watch. Let's be honest. And I know I'm gonna probably hit some Memphis people the wrong way with this. I don't think Penny's on the hot seat. Okay, I think he means too much to that community right now. I mean, he's revitalized that program. So I don't want to say he's on the hot seat, but at the same time, we do got to point out the fact that it does look like the team has quit on him. You know, sometimes the message just gets lost, and sometimes you're tired of hearing the same stale message. And especially with 18 and 22-year-olds, sometimes they just shut it down. And it looks like that's what's happened with Memphis and that basketball team. And listen, you know, I've been in that situation. I played college basketball. I've been on the bubble trying to get into the NCAA tournament. And guys need to realize that the NCAA tournament is like nothing else, man. I mean, getting to it, playing in it, you know, the practices in the arena before you even go to the game is sold out. People watching you practice, like there's nothing like it. And I think kids take for granted, you know, the opportunity that they have because they think that there'll be more. And, you know, take it from somebody who played that, you know, when it was over, and you wish you had more time. And I just see a team that's just not capturing the moment. You don't go no good teams when they fighting for their lives and fighting for an NCAA tournament bid, you know, you don't lose by 27. Not with the talent that Memphis has. You don't lose by 27. You lose by 2 on the road, you lose by 4, you lose at the buzzer, but you don't lose by 27. And Lee, that's just not a good look. And again, we had talked about this earlier about what he was saying through the media. And I know you and I disagreed with kind of putting a message out to the players. And he kind of did it again. He kind of, you know, put the accountability on the players. He made a comment also about the fact that they were wondering when they transferred all those guys in, you know, how it would really work. And this is what you get, especially in basketball. This is what you get with that NIL, NCAA. I mean, that transfer portal, you know, programs matter. Consistency matters. A message matters. And they have a whole bunch of guys playing for themselves. They're not committed to the program. They committed to self. And I think that shows when you watch them play basketball. And like he said, I will agree with him. If it's not going their way and you're not bought into Memphis, you're not bought into the community, you're not bought into the university, and you were there for self, it's easy to quit. And I think that's what you're seeing guys doing right now. They're just quitting on Penny and Memphis, and it's unfortunate because they're talented enough to make a deep run into the tournament.
Yeah, no, the great points, Marv. I think to add to that, you have to look at roster building and what roster building looks like. You know, when you have a roster and you're talking about all of this transfer portal stuff, and then you dip into the high school ranks, and then you look at the city of Memphis with all the talented players in the city of Memphis, they've had an exodus of homegrown talent out of the program, and they brought a lot of transfers in, to your point, Mark, from around the country, right? And getting those people that have been brought in to buy in to how, you know, the Tigers fans, the Tigers coaching staff expect them to play, That's been difficult. And it's truly a case study in when it's going good, we're all up and we're high-fiving and we're jumping around and we're having a good time. But when it comes time to commit on defense, to work hard and boxing out and rebounding, and it goes bad, you get the product that we saw yesterday. And it's hard to say, well, we can fix it mid-season. There's no fix for that mid-season. There's nothing you can do when you see players that are not bought in to what you're trying to teach, because you don't have that type of time to practice and get the right mix. This is what I'll say, Marv. I'll say this. Find you 8 people that are committed to playing defense, because it all starts on the defensive end for the Tigers. Yesterday, Marv, they're trailing on screens. They're not boxing out on rebound. They didn't get a loose ball to save their life. Every loose ball SMU got. That tells me that the hustle, the desire, the intensity is not there. And it's something that, Penny has to really examine this next offseason as to what the mix is going to be of transfers and high school recruits, because you have a lot of seniors on that team that's playing for their NBA lives. So I just think you have to look at that mixture and see who, like you said, and you made a great point. Are you committed to the University of Memphis and the way we do things, or are you just committed to self, Mark?
And it was hard because these guys are literally fighting for their NCAA tournament lives, and that's the product that you put out on the floor. And you made a really good point. It's like, who are they playing for at this point? And I think it becomes pretty obvious. So the question I would ask you, Lee, and all my Memphis folks that love the Tigers, like where do you stand now? Like, I think that's 2 tournament misses over the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and only 1 tournament win out of 4 appearances. You only got 1 win. Like, I know what Penny means to the community. I know what he means, just the name Penny Hardaway. But if we look at this objectively, where's the state of this program at right now, especially with the fact that they've missed on the tournament a few times and only 1 win to show for all this? Where does it stand?
Well, they do have a beacon, a glimmer of hope. They just need to win the AAA tournament, and then they can get there. And they have enough talent. That's the quandary. They have enough talent to do it. They have enough talent to do it, and that would get them that automatic bid. But I'll say this, Marv. Penny has a lot of grace with the city, with the university, with the fans. I think this is something that it does tarnish his coaching legacy. There's no doubt about that. To start 15-2 and be where you're at now, you're the head coach. And Marv, I try to be honest at all times. You have to answer to what has happened to the Tigers. That's on him. Let's be honest. The players, the way they play, you bought them in. You didn't, you bought these players here. And so how they're playing now and the product that's on the court, that's on Penny. And so how this year plays out, there's no way they're going to get an at-large, because they had some great wins in the preseason. Yeah. But now with losing 3 of 9, and the committee always looks at how you're playing going into the tournament, and so the at-large bid is out of the question now. So how do you rebound? You say, okay, let's go out and win this tournament. If not, you're going to be playing in NIT. So to answer your question, Marv, I think he has plenty of grace left, because as I talk to people around the city, they're not down on Penny to the point of we need to replace the coach. But let's say this, and we have to be honest on this show. We're a show that speaks truth, at least our truths. That Penny has to come back from this. And again, a team full of transfers. We haven't really seen that in basketball, right? In college, we haven't seen a team just full of transfers. We've seen 4 or 5 transfers, but we haven't seen a team with 6, 7, 8 transfers in. I don't know if that mix works, to your point earlier, on a basketball roster, when that camaraderie has to be tight and close.
Yeah, just to wrap it up, I would really love to see Penny just go back to the roots and build a culture. Build a team around maybe not the most talented guys, but the guys that are going to buy in. You can win a lot of basketball games with players that buy into your philosophy and what you try to teach and are tough defensively. So I would like to see him just kind of rebuild this culture a little bit. I think he lost his way a little bit. That NIL and transfer portal makes you a little happy when you can go out there and pull a guy that you probably otherwise wouldn't get. So like you said, I think he has time to rebound, but he's got to rebuild that culture a bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And guys, we love for you to comment on anything we've talked about as far as the Tigers. I mean, it's big news around Memphis. I mean, everybody's talking about it, so we'd love to get some of your comments on the state of the Tigers, whether Coach Penny Hardaway is on the hot seat, and where do you think the Tigers will finish up going into this last stretch of 5 regular season games in the AAU tournament. So we want to switch it up a little bit, Marv. The NBA All-Star Weekend was this weekend. The 3-point shooting, the slam dunk. I want to get into the festivities but the first question I want to ask you, Marv, is, I mean, what do they do about the All-Star game? I mean, 211 to 186, the score, no defense played whatsoever. It's turned into a trick shot, 3-point shooting contest, and a dunk fest. And let me say this, throughout the years, we've seen All-Star games where, they scored a lot of points, but the players took it upon themselves and had pride to play some defense in that fourth quarter. They always let everybody get theirs the first 3 quarters. In that fourth quarter, it was winning time, and they really wanted to win the game. I don't see any of that in the All-Star game now. So, Mark, what do you think they should go, and what's the status, in your opinion, of the NBA All-Star game at this point?
I think it's dead. I mean, and I love basketball. I tuned in for about 5 minutes, and I saw what the product was going to be. I tuned right out. I watched this during the regular season. I don't need to watch it in an All-Star game. So, but remember, Lee, some of our old heads, we're going to show our age here a little bit. But back in the day when you watched the All-Star game, it was because you got the opportunity to see guys that you didn't really get to see a lot, right? If you were on the East Coast, you didn't see a lot of West Coast guys, wasn't a lot of TV coverage. You didn't have all day streaming and highlight reels where you could just go back and watch people. It was different. So the All-Star game for a lot of players was a coming out party too, to say that they belong, to show who they really were. It wasn't that 24/7 coverage that we have now. So that changes it a lot, for guys. Yeah. But I don't know what you do at this point, because this is just a microcosm of what the NBA has turned into. It's turned into an entertainment league, not really a basketball league. I was talking to some of my guys. I mean, he's the best players in the world, don't get me wrong. But I was talking to some of my friends the other day, and we were just kind of talking about, and I don't know, a lot of you out there play basketball. You probably remember this drill, though. Remember where you all lined up on the baseline and you roll the ball out, and there was one guy that got it, and then the next guy came out and defended. And if he scored, he kept it, and the next guy came out, and if he stopped him, he got it. Now, listen. I know it's a little primitive to think that way, but nobody in the league, we always talk about who we'd want to see a one-on-one matchup with, right? And when it really mattered. We always talked about how would Kobe go against MJ? How would LeBron do against MJ? How would, KD do against, James Worthy? I don't know, whoever we could think of. But think about a format like that, where it was like, we gonna make brackets. We gonna 16 All-Stars, and it's a one-on-one duel, and who's ever left standing is deemed the best skills or the best one-on-one or whatever. Guys would not want to get embarrassed. I don't care what you say. That's a brand. And I always, like Kyrie, you would say Kyrie would eat everybody up, but then let's limit it to 3 dribbles. Let's make it real interesting to see who really are skilled basketball players. And guys would not want to get embarrassed. I would love to see something. I know they're not going to do something like that, but guys will come out there. They would compete, because it's just you and the other dude. And I'll be damned if I let him cross me up one-on-one, or if I let him do this and I don't score a bucket, and he goes through the whole lineup and he scores 11 straight. Nah, dude's got too much pride for that. I would love to see do something like that, but I know we're not going to see it. But the All-Star game, Lee, to your question, I mean, I just think it's dead. I mean, what can you do at this point? You can't make guys play.
Yeah, and let me ask you this one. Do you think, the old days, and I'm dating myself a little bit, but, It wasn't all that buddy stuff. I mean, you respected the guys that you played against, but it's way too much love for me in the NBA. I mean, the love is just out of it's out of this world. It's too much love. So that breeds what you see on Sunday nights as well. They all are buddy. They all hang out in the off season. There's really no heated rivalry. Who's the biggest? If we ask the question, who's the biggest rivals in the NBA? There is none, Mark. There is none. There's nobody that. Look, I hate him. When you saw The Last Dance, what did Michael Jordan say about Isaiah? Isaiah's very skilled, but I hate him. I mean, and Mark, this 20 years later, he still hates him. Right? We don't have that, and it breeds what we saw in the game. It's a love fest among the players. Now, do you think, Marv, the play-in game, the players got $500K or whatever they got? I personally think that they have to put, right now, the winning team in the AllStar game gets $100,000. The losing team gets $25K. They might as well take $25. And look, they might as well take $25 out of my pocket and say that's equivalent. It doesn't matter. So you have to put a higher, if you want competition, you're going to have to put a higher monetary value on winning and losing for these guys to play, something that's really, really significant for these guys to play. Because to your point, I mean, it's let you shoot from half court. We're not picking you up and let you go in and do a 360 dunk. All of this stuff, it's very, very difficult to watch. I think I watched maybe a half a quarter, and and it was on, but I wasn't watching it. It was just a terrible, terrible product. And I know that Adam Silver thought that he had talked to the players about being more into it and playing harder. You can forget that because they're all buddy, and nobody wants to risk anything when they're not getting a reward for it,
right,
for playing. And there's no reward for playing. So I just think it's, like you said, Marty, it's dead. They're always going to have the game. Hell, the game is sold out, right? So people are still coming to the game. It's just difficult to watch on TV because there's nothing going on. Let me ask you this, Marv, about the slam dunk. What do you think about the slam dunk contest at All-Star Saturday? Do you think that's something that they need to change? Or do you think the reason the slam dunk, and I'm a proponent of this, the reason it's broken is because the best dunkers are not in there?
Yeah, I mean, the best dunkers aren't in there, but it's only so many dunks you can do. I mean, maybe the names might bring more interest to it. Having Mac McClung win your slam dunk competition 2 years in a row isn't a good look. I'll tell you that. I'm going to give him his props. He did some pretty nice dunks, but, I mean, we can't reinvent the wheel. There's only so many dunks that you can do. So I just don't know how you really reinvent that at this point because everybody's seen everything. Even if Anthony Edwards got out there and did, something crazy, somebody's already done it. I think the only way you revitalize the dunk contest is you make it open to the best dunkers everywhere. It's a competition, and you bring the street, you bring dudes from Miami-Dade County that's jumping out the gym, doing cartwheels, and I think and they get a chance to go up and compete against the NBA guys. I think that's the only way that you get some kind of interest because people will take notice, and it'll be bragging rights from people from different places. Like, we got the best dunker, he beat whoever in the NBA. That's the only way you can garner any interest. And I know there's guys out there that don't play in the NBA that do some crazy stuff. Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
And NBA guy, I give Jaylen Brown credit too, because, there was nothing for him to really gain by doing that dunk contest. He's not the best dunker. He's more of an in-game dunker. He's not a creative type dunker. So I give him a lot of credit for doing it because he didn't have to. But it showed. I mean, his dunks were pedestrian at best, but at least he got out there and tried to make it something to have somebody of value in terms of, what people call value in the NBA to do the contest. But they got to open it up and bring other people into the fold.
I like that idea. You could have regional competitions on the road to the NBA All-Star game. And I think that would be great. I do think, though, if you had more named people, if LeBron was in there, if Ja Morant was in there, the oohs and ahs would be, the eyes would be on more. And even though they're not going to do anything that we have never seen, because we've seen some stuff throughout the years, just that competition amongst those guys would be great. To have Ja, I agree with you, Recycle Me, to have, Ja, and some of these other guys that are in there, Anthony Edwards and all those guys, I think it would be great. But yeah, the slam dunk, I'd rather see them play one-on-one, Mark. If
Look,
it's something, just get one-on-one to like 7, or let them play one-on-one. And
that's it right there.
Yeah, let them play one-on-one, and you would get, put some parameters around it while you can't bag them down, but make them play one-on-one. I think that skill level would come out and show. So let's go to the skills competition itself. Marv, you are a point guard, and I have to get you. I have to, because when I look at the skills competition, I'm like, give me a break, guys. I mean, this is just made up stuff to fill time. But you are a point guard. Tell me what you think about the skills competition at all.
I think it's terrible, man. We both feel the same way. It's hard to watch. Like it's not compelling TV at all. It's not entertainment. It's guys going through the motions, just to be out there and just to improve their brand a little bit. But I mean, it's not really doing much. You got to figure out a way, Lee, and we both on the same page. You got to figure out a way how to make this competitive, like the 101, I'm questioning your basketball skills on a national stage, and it's mano a mano, me and you, and it's a million up to you talk about dudes going at people's heads because nobody want to get embarrassed. It's got to be something it's got to be something that incites the competition and it puts people on the spotlight. You can hide in the NBA All-Star game. Everybody doing the same stuff. Everybody already talked before the game, man. Hey, don't cross me up. Don't do this. I'm gonna do this on. Don't make me look bad. Whatever the case may be. So I think that's the only savior. Do that with the slam dunk. Make it competitive, like you pitting people against each other, and go from there. That's the only way you can really save it.
3-point shooting contest. I think the best event of the whole weekend is a 3-point shooting contest. I like how they added some of the money balls, the 3-point ball in it. I think now that personally for me is here to stay. That was an excellent competition. It was good theater. I think putting the challenge game in there, and we'll get to that in just a minute, was great. So it was great. It was great to have all of that. It was great to have all that in there, the 3-point shooting and everything else. That was a great competition. And so
yeah. That boy say he's gonna be on camera. Come on, man.
Hello.
What's up, brother?
No. Come on.
But look, that again is the competitive nature of basketball, right? That is who is the best shooter, mano a mano. You by yourself with a basketball and a hoop, and I'm proving to you that I'm the best shooter in the league. That everybody's always going to be competitive when it comes to that because nobody wants to lose and everybody wants to show that they the best. That's what you got to try to figure out, how to have more competitions that breed that. The 3-point competition will always be great because it's that in the moment. How big of a shooter are you? Can you knock down shots when it matters? And you're going up against the other best. It'll always be a great competition.
Absolutely. And so that one to me is here to stay. Now, what I want to get into now, Marv, is the Kenny Smith comment about the challenge between Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu. And Kenny Smith's comment, for those of you that didn't hear it, Kenny said that, since they were having a 3-point shooting contest, Steph, he used the NBA regulation ball. Sabrina used the women's regulation ball, which is smaller. And both of them shot from behind the 3-point line. And Kenny said to make it an even challenge, Sabrina should have shot behind the women's 3-point line. Marv, give me your thoughts on that. Give me your thoughts. I have some particular thoughts on it, but give me your thoughts on it.
I usually like Kenny, and I think I understand what he was trying to do. He was trying to kind of play the villain, a little bit when it came to that, but it was still a bad look, man. Like I don't understand the timing or the logic kind of behind what he was saying. Like Sabrina, the young lady that shot, she chose to shoot from the NBA, the men's NBA. She could have shot from her line, WNBA line, but she chose to shoot from the NBA line because she wanted to be a fair competition. And she hit 26. Like she hit the same amount as She hit the same amount as Dame, who won the NBA in the final round. That's what he shot to win the 3-point contest. So let's not act like the young lady can't shoot, because she can. I think it was entertaining. I think it put the WNBA in a really good light, in the spotlight, to go up against Steph, and she did. She shot the lights out the ball. And if you can shoot, it's entertaining. And we all know Steph has transformed the game with the way that he shoots the ball. She's one of the best in the WNBA, and I thought it was an absolute great way to a great thing to add to the weekend. Kenny Smith sounded old school. He sounded like us sometimes, like the man on the front porch on the lawn. Get off my lawn. You're not supposed to be shooting. Like, yeah, go on and shoot up. But that's what he sounded like. I know he didn't mean it that way, but that's kind of what he sounded like. But I thought it was the best competition of the weekend, to be quite honest.
It really was, and they should do more of that. They should certainly do more challenges. Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because I have talked to some of my friends about this very scenario. And now should she have used the NBA regulation ball to shoot, Mark? If we were comparing apples to apples, should she have used the same ball as Steph Curry?
No, because there's a weighted difference, right? The men's ball is a little bit heavier. Listen, look, Steph Curry is the best shooter ever. Like there's no comparison to that. And for her, I don't care if she's using an orange or a grapefruit. For her to be able to to show up with the lights on, and I don't care what she's shooting with. Like, the girl is skilled, and for her to do that on that stage, I was impressed. So I don't care what she used. She showed out. She was a good look for the WNBA and for her brand, because everything's about branding now. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, I think what Kenny was trying to say was he wanted to make it a fair competition, and giving her the opportunity to win. So I think that's why, to your point, I think that's why he was injecting that into it. And then a lot of commentary on what Kenny said. I don't think Kenny was offline with his comments. He was just trying to fill space on the broadcast. And then, of course, it gets all kind of legs and it starts to run and everybody has an opinion. But I thought it was a great competition. I loved it. It was exciting. She made 7 straight 3-pointers to kick it off. I mean, it was tremendous what she was doing. And so I think it's much to do about nothing, really. I think Steph enjoyed it. She enjoyed it. Kenny enjoyed it. But people make big deals out of what we say. And so, hey, the competition to me is something that needs to happen going forward. And I appreciate what both of them said. It was great theater for both of them. And ultimately, it was great for the NBA and the WNBA, as you said.
And one more thing before we go, and I think people need to realize, because the WNBA doesn't get the ratings, and it's not as popular as the NBA. We all know that, but I've had the opportunity to be around WNBA players. I was at Alabama when the women's team went to the Final Four, and an average dude at the Rec, or above average, maybe even a D2, would have trouble with some of these WNBA players. I'm telling you right now, y'all, you need to realize the skill level that some of these young ladies have and that they play with, and the size and the ability and the athletic ability. Like, of course, they're not going to dunk the basketball, because that's just not what it is. But the skill level in which they play with, I played against some that I've had to be like, okay, I got to dig in a little bit here.
You got to rough them up a little bit, Mark. You got to start banging them and roughing them up a little bit. I know.
Look, they're very skilled, and the average dude out there that think he a hooper, I promise you, take my word for it, you would get embarrassed. I'm telling you. So, don't take it for granted. I love what she did on that stage, and I think they should definitely keep doing that.
Absolutely. Well, hey, this has been great. This has been our sports update from After the Buzzers, minus my son running in and photo bombing us. But hey, live, YouTube live. That's what happens. Hey, this is what we're going to do every day going forward. We'll have 3 or 4 topics from today's action, and we'll bring them to you live. Please subscribe. Please comment. I'm Lee Jones. That's Marvin Orange. This is After the Buzzer Sports Podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day.